a thin layer. So I put out some paint, and you can use a brayer or a brush, but a brayer works well because it gives you a very even application. If you have it too thick, you're going to get a messy image. So very light pressure, you're going to have a nice smooth layer. You load the stamp into that paint, and then you go directly over onto the surface and press, and we'll hope a very light image. Now let me try it again, and you can see the difference.
How do you keep this from drying on the brayer?
You really should have
Baby wipes.
Paper towel. Yeah, I can clean it with a baby wipes. Clean that off.
Use those for my hand.
We'll try the other way. This is how I have done it, is simply to brush. You have to be, if you use a brush, it's going to take you a little bit of practice to get the feel of how having a thin layer. If it's too thick, you get a sloppy image. So if it's too thin, you get a light image. The joy about doing mixed media is if you get a partial or a light image, it doesn't make any difference. It just adds to the character. So now we'll load in here. And let's try it right on top of color. With a perfect image. So your control factor is the amount of paint that you have.
Okay.
Too much, you get a sloppy image. Not enough, you get a partial image. And in using the stamps, you want to clean this off. Normally I have a bowl of water, or I have a bit of water and a little brush, which with my full table and all the paints,
You don't have room.
I don't have. But if you clean it off right away, it comes off real easily.
Now you need to do that in between each one, or in between after you do 4 or 5 of them, then you need to...
I think in between 4 or 5 of them, and after a work session, if you can take it out in the sink and have hot water and a brush, it will clean right off. Okay. Okay.
So now you're using
Media, the new media paints by DecoArt, and one of the advantages or particularly creative uses for the media is taking advantage of the heavy load of pigment and the natural transparency of the paints and using them as a glaze over the stamped images. So I'm going to take this yellow and add just the barest touch of blue to it, and you see how strong that pigment is because you immediately create a lime green color. If anyone is interested in studying color theory, this is definitely the way to go because you see immediate results with clear color and no muddiness. So now once you have your stamped image, the natural transparency of this paint glazes over. You get the pattern through and you see the color. I can do a quick rinse here and you can see the blue is going to give you an equally transparent image. The pigment load is so strong that even though you make a wash, you get vibrant color and pure clear color.
It's very fun.
So you could play all day.
Yeah, that's